Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a Yardman push mower. It's a Briggs & Stratton 6.5 horsepower. It has one of them self starter buttons on it where it has a spring on there. When the motor's running, it tightens the spring up, so when you shut it off and start it up again, you're supposed to push this button here and put it on the handle and it'll automatically start. But it's been sitting around for a while. The muffler's about ready to fall off, and the gas smells really bad in it. We're going to fix the muffler, probably clean the carburetor out, change fuel, and the oil definitely needs changing too. That's black as coal. So hope you enjoy the video. Okay, as you can see, the muffler is barely holding on there. I don't have a regular muffler bolt for this, so I'm going to use a regular bolt, and I'm going to get one ordered. Thing must have been off for a long time. The gasket's not even lined up. So I'm going to try to loosen that gasket up without tearing it. At least it's not going to be leaking exhaust and making it louder than it needs to be. Bend these over. That way the bolts won't come undone. And that filter's really bad shape. And there's 3 bolts holding that air filter base in. They're 5/16 also. Must have been laying on its side maybe at one time. I'm going to go ahead and pop this top off here so we can see the carburetor better for filming. And that's a Phillips, 2 Phillips screws on top. There we go. We can see that carburetor a lot better now. I'm going to break loose the fuel line there. I dumped most of the old gas out. I don't know how much is left in there. Kind of rock it back and forth to break it loose so you don't tear the fuel line. Still some gas there. We get like a little cup, finish draining that. Then when I pull the carburetor off, there's 2 3/8-inch bolts. Yeah, there's a little bit of gas left in the gas line. I'm going to use the air hose and cover up with this and blow the rest of that old gas out. Make sure you use a towel or a rag or something so you don't get gas in your eyes or whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and pop that carburetor off now. I took the carburetor cleaner and cleaned a lot of it off so we can see the 2 bolts. And always make sure that O-ring is in there. This one's kind of flat, so we're probably going to replace it. Let me finish cleaning this off, and we'll go ahead and tear it apart. Okay, this bolt's a 1/2 inch. And this bolt's the main jet too. The jet's built into this. Disgusting that gas looks. And the main jet's right here. And there's a little round seat in there. Best way to pop them out, you gotta be careful so you don't scratch the inside of this hole here, but just take a little screwdriver, push in and turn a little bit, and get your air gun and blow in here, and it should shoot it right out. Pops it right out. You can see there's not that little red seat in there. A lot of junk in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in like that. We're going to boil all this out. Now that gas really stinks. That's that yellowish there. That's that doggone ethanol. Let's go to the ultrasonic cleaner over here. Go ahead and put this stuff in here. 15 minutes. Or make it 20 minutes. And while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put a new plug in there and drain the oil. And I'll go find that new carburetor kit for this. One of them J19 LMs. Go grab a new one. We'll gap it like about 25 or so. Go ahead and snug her down. Pop it in there until you hear that click. Let's go ahead and vacuum that oil out of there while we're doing this. That oil is pretty darn black. Go ahead and let that drain. And I'll go grab a carburetor kit. Okay, just got out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Looks really nice again. And I boiled this out too. But you can do this with a can of carburetor cleaner too. Just stick, I just use the end of a flywheel brake cable and stick one of them in there and make sure the jet's nice and cleaned out. And here's our new seat. One side's nice and smooth. The other side's kind of rigid. The rigid side goes in first. And make sure the smooth side is up. And I like using the 3/16 drill bit with the end. Make sure there ain't no spurs on it. And put it in there like that. And press down on it. And there you go. It's all locked in there. Then just blow a little air in there to make sure you get any debris out of there. With the smooth sides facing up. I came with a new one, but it's kind of a little bit too big. It's like a universal carburetor kit. And go ahead and snug that down. And it came with a new O-ring in it. When it was flattened out, you gotta always check that on these Briggs. You don't want air and stuff getting sucked in. So here's the old one. Kind of how flat it is compared to the new one. That seals that off so air don't get sucked in there. I'll go ahead and hook up the governor linkage. Make sure them are nice and tight. Let's hook up that fuel line. These little starter mechanisms are nice, but there's a big, thick spring in there, coil spring. And if them things break, it's a real pain in the butt replacing that. One of these days I'll get one of them with a broken spring and I'll show you what I mean on that. But if you don't want to, them things are broke, you don't replace it, they'll still start up. Just squeeze the flywheel brake cable and press the primer bulb and just use the rope and they'll start right up too. So now we can put our air filter base on there and I'll put this vent. Hook that vent up. The oil's done draining, so let me grab some new oil. And these motors usually take 16 ounces. Never want to start without any oil in there. So we'll do that now before we put gas in there. We put SAE 30 weight in these. If you mow in the wintertime, you put 1030 on it, but you're not going to mow nothing in the wintertime. I'm going to get this all running good and everything and drain the gas. So when they use it in the springtime, they can put fresh gas in there. And they'll be good to go. But I got to put a little bit of gas in there and make sure it runs good and everything. I'm going to go grab a new air filter. But before I put this in, I want to put some gas in there and make sure it's not leaking. If it leaks, you can't let these paper elements get wet like that. Or it's like having a choke on. Let me grab the gas can with premium fuel. Put a little gas in there and make sure it's not leaking out of the carburetor. I want to make sure the primer thing's working good too before we button this up. Okay, I push the primer bulb. You want to look inside there. Make sure gas is coming out, and it is. So everything is good on the carburetor. I'm going to put this top on. Okay, let me get this out. Oh, I'm going to check the blade out real quick. See if the blade needs sharpening or replacing. Don't look too bad, but I'm still going to put a nice edge on there. Did all this other work to it, might as well do that too. And that's a 5/8. Has these big flat wings on it. Looks like someone welded them on there. That's probably why the muffler shook loose, because it looks like this one side's bigger than the other side, and this side has way more weld on it. That's probably why that shook the muffler loose, is out of balance. So we're just going to go ahead and put a new blade on there. I don't know what the purpose of that was. It's not stock. That's alright, we'll get her figured out. There we go. Okay, go ahead and take this off the table now. So we'll put this touch and mow in that place there. Then we got to crank it a few times to wind up that spring. Okay, then bring this back here. We push this button and bring that thing back. Just like that. Just like that. I hope this video helps you out. I appreciate you watching. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. Anyway, you guys have a good afternoon.